My name is Jun Sehan, and for the past 4 years of middle school, I've been telling myself that hard work is the only currency that matters. Lunch break is supposed to be for eating, not for turning the entire hallway into a social circus. Yet, here I am, unable to read a single paragraph because the noise level in this place rivals a K-pop concert crowd. Some of us are actually trying to build a future here, but I guess that concept is a little too abstract for most people in the school. At least I can take some comfort knowing that my GPA will do more for me than whatever is going on over by the vending machines right now. Not that I'm getting much reading done anyway. And then she literally said that to its face, no cap. One voice always managed to cut through the rest like a hot knife through butter. Loud, unapologetic, magnetic in the most irritating way possible. That was Lily Jenkins, unquestionably the most popular girl in our grade, and honestly, probably in the entire building. She had this energy that filled every room she walked into, the kind that made people turn their heads whether they wanted to or not. Natural hair always perfectly styled, outfits that looked like she got dressed specifically to make everyone else feel underdressed, and a laugh that could probably be heard from the parking lot. Beautiful? Absolutely. Responsible with her future? That remained to be seen. I turned back to my book. Hey, why are you staring over here like that? I looked up and somehow, impossibly, she was standing right in front of my desk. What do you want? I said flatly. Relax, I'm not here for you, she said, rolling her eyes, but not without some kind of glint behind them. Did the teacher call for me or something? One of your little dirty friends said something about it. I blinked. Yeah, I think I heard them say your name earlier. She tilted her head slightly, like she was reevaluating something. Okay, thanks, I guess. And just like that, she walked off. Maybe I'd misjudged her, at least slightly. She was loud, sure, but she didn't seem completely unreasonable. It had been a month since I'd been moved into this class, and I thought I was starting to figure out where everyone landed. So naturally, when I also got called to the teacher's office, I ended up walking down the hall at the exact same time as her. Why are you following me? She said without looking back. I'm not. Teacher called me too. She glanced sideways. Oh. From behind us, I could hear the hushed and not so hushed commentary from a group of guys who clearly had too much free time and not enough self-awareness. Bro, why is he walking next to Lily right now? That's actually not fair. Somebody get this man out of here. Lily ignored it all effortlessly, like she'd long since stopped registering background noises worth her attention. Then she looked over at me with this expression I couldn't quite decode. You always wear that mask to school, like every single day. It's not that unusual, I said. At this school, it kind of is, though. She let the words hang there with a smirk. Is it because you're insecure about your face or something? Like, is there a whole situation going on under there? There's no situation. Then why? I didn't answer, which apparently she found funnier than any response I could have given her. She laughed, not cruelly, just freely. I'm just saying, a girl like me walking around with a mask on would be a crime against humanity. That's not even a little bit humble. Why would I be humble? Humility is for people who have something to be humble about. I had absolutely no idea how to respond to that, so I didn't. We reached the teacher's office and I held the door like a normal person. She walked through like she owned the building. Our teacher, Mr. Owens, had this way of looking at you like he already knew what you were going to say before you said it. He handed us each a flyer before we had even settled into our seats. A local preschool is looking for volunteers this weekend. I think the two of you would be a perfect fit. I stared at the flyer, then at him. Why me specifically? You have the time, he said with the kind of calm that suggested he had already decided this conversation was over. And Lily, didn't you mention wanting to work with kids someday? She sat up slightly. I mean, yeah, that's actually the dream. Perfect. It's settled, then. He smiled the smile of a man who had never once lost an argument in his career. That is how I ended up co-volunteering with the most socially opposite person in our school for a full weekend at a preschool with zero input from either of us. I cannot believe I got paired with the most boring person in this entire school, she muttered. You're welcome to go back in there and tell him that. She cut her eyes at me. Don't tempt me. We agreed to meet the following Saturday to go over the plan together. She showed up in an outfit that made me genuinely wonder if she misread the address and thought we were going somewhere else entirely. We're going to a preschool. And I look like I'm going to a rooftop lounge. I look cute, which is more than I can say for most people, she said, completely unbothered. What's the game plan? Do we just throw some juice boxes at them and hope for the best? We are not doing that. I'm kidding, mostly. We figured it out eventually, somehow, and by the time Saturday rolled around, I was as prepared as I was going to be. The truth is, I have never been great with kids. Loud and chaotic energy drains me fast, and children are basically chaos and sneakers. Be a dinosaur, or at me. I was being used as a jungle gym within the first 10 minutes. You are the horse now. Get on your hands and knees. I looked across the room hoping to find some kind of sympathy, and instead found Lily crouched down at eye level with a group of little girls doing some kind of elaborate handshake sequence, fully absorbed in the moment and not even slightly aware of my suffering. The teacher running the preschool came over and touched her arm. The kids absolutely love you. You're a natural. Lily beamed. Playing with kids is literally the best thing ever. I watched her for a moment longer than I meant to. This was not the same person who had told me humility was for people with something to be humble about. This version of her was patient, focused, genuinely lit up, like this was the thing she had been looking forward to all week. Why preschool specifically? I asked during a break while the kids were napping. She shrugged, like it was obvious. I've got younger siblings, a lot of them. I basically grew up taking care of kids, so I already know I love it. If I'm going to spend 40 hours a week doing something, it might as well be something that actually means something to me. That's actually a solid answer. Were you expecting something bad? I honestly didn't know what to expect. You thought I was just a pretty face with nothing going on behind it. I didn't deny it. She didn't seem to need me to. Hey, one of the kids called over in my direction, tugging at my sleeve. Why do you keep your mask on? Are you hiding something weird? Before I could answer, Lily slid smoothly into the conversation. Don't say that. It's rude. Maybe he just likes it. But is he ugly underneath? That, she said with a perfectly delivered pause, is an excellent question. The whole room of kids turned to look at me, even the ones who had just woken up from their naps. I looked at her. She looked back at me with this expression that was part amusement and part genuine curiosity, like this was a thing she had been looking forward to all week. Fine. I pulled the mask down. The kids went completely silent for exactly 1 second, and then absolute chaos broke out in the best possible way. You're handsome. He looks like a prince. Miss Lily, was he always this pretty? Lily covered her mouth with her hand, slowly, and just stood there staring at me like something had short-circuited somewhere in her processing. When she finally collected herself, she looked away and then back again and said, way too casually, well, good luck with the rest of placement, I guess. Thanks. I had absolutely no idea why I felt like something had shifted, but I did. The following week at school, I was back to lunching alone on the roof. It was my spot. Nobody else ever came up here, which was the entire point. There you are. I should have known. Lily dropped down across from me like she had been invited, which she had not been. What are you doing up here? I asked. Looking for you, obviously. Why do you eat up here all alone? That's kind of sad. It's peaceful. It's lonely. Those can be the same thing. She put something on the table between us, mouthwash and a small packet of mints. I looked at it, then at her. What is this? Hygiene check. Rinse, then take a mint. Why? She just smiled and gestured for me to do it, so for reasons I cannot fully explain to myself, I did. The second I looked back up, she leaned forward and kissed me, quick and deliberate, like she had been planning it for a while, and decided this was the moment. I pulled back immediately. What are you doing? What I said I'd do, she said simply. I told you, when I find someone I like, I make sure they know. You can't just do that. I just did, though. We barely know each other. We know each other enough. She tilted her head and looked at me with this expression that was somehow both confident and completely sincere at the same time. Look, I'm not asking you to marry me, but you're interesting and you're actually kind of cute when you're not hiding behind the mask. And I genuinely like talking to you, even though you're annoying. So there it is. I had no idea what to say to any of that. "If you don't like me back, that's fine," she added, and for just a second, the unshakable composure flickered. "We could still just be cool, friends or whatever, because you're always alone, and honestly, it's a little painful to watch." I looked at her, really looked at her, and thought about how wrong I had been about nearly everything I assumed when I first saw her. "I'll think about it," I said finally. She grinned. "That's not a no. It's not a yes either. I'll take it." She stole one of my snacks without asking, and looked out over the school grounds like she owned those too. I didn't say anything, but I also didn't move away. And somehow that felt like its own kind of answer. If you made it this far, you already know this story is just getting started. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next between Junso and Lily, because trust me, it only gets more interesting from here.